Hey everyone, we're going to continue our lesson on using phones today with the unique curriculum. So I'm going to share my screen with you and we will get into making and answering calls. So phones can help us communicate, and we see a picture of a cell phone up there in the clip art. This is what most phones look like now. They used to be flip phones, and before the flip cell phones, they were tiny little phones. They're the big phones, and we've shown some different types of phones through the years on our smartboard in a previous lesson when we were all in school together. So hopefully you remember some of those, but I know that picture might not look like it's everybody's cell phone, but that is a picture of a cell phone. So phones help us communicate. That means talk to one another. We can also communicate via FaceTime or Skype. It is important to know how to make phone calls so you are able to communicate with others over the phone, and it is important to know how to answer phone calls. You can do so appropriately if someone were to call you. Can you make a phone call? What do you do? First, you need to find the phone number, and phone numbers are found either in your phone contact, online, or in a phone book such as this one. This is how an example of a phone book, and we went over this last week as well. Now this phone book has yellow pages in it, and those are phone numbers of businesses, and the white pages are residential listings. That those are where the houses people live in, or the apartments. That's where people live. So that is another option. And online, you can look on there as well, or you can ask somebody, they might have it. Once you have the phone number, you just dial, so you match all the numbers up to the phone, the keypad on your phone, and it will ring. And when someone answers the phone call, you need to say something. You can't just let them go first. They might not think anyone is on the other line. So we need to say hello and tell them our name, tell the person the reason you called, and if nobody answers, it's a good idea to leave a voicemail. And I know in our story last week, we had a friend who called her friend didn't answer, and she got anxious that maybe her friend was mad at her, until her mom encouraged her, call again, leave a message. And then when she did that, her friend knew that she needed to call her back. So she wasn't mad at her at all. Remember, she was just in the library. So relating to that, if nobody answers when you call, leave a voicemail. Sometimes people will also throw in a text message and say, hey, I just called, no need to call me back. Or, hey, can you call me back when you get a chance? When you're answering a phone call, you can say, hello, and or how are you, or what's up. So there's not one right way. Always a good idea to, when you pick up the phone, to say something so they know that you're there. Make sure to have good manners when using the phone. We always want to speak clearly and be polite. Do not make phone calls too early or too late, because you don't want to wake somebody up if they're sleeping. They might not appreciate that too much. So this talks about using phones and using phone numbers. You can also have a contact list on your phone where you just push the contact and it'll dial for you. And you might even choose to do FaceTime if you don't use your speaking voice to communicate with others. FaceTime is very similar and will let you just have a video chat with someone else, kind of like I'm doing with you, except you would be on the other end of this. And that way you can sign to them, or you could use your communication device and have a conversation with them. So that is another way that you could use phones if you do not use your voice to speak the same way that I do. So remember, before we make a phone call, we need to find the number and dial the number, or find that person in our contacts, and then you can call using the call button on there, or the FaceTime button if you have an Apple phone. If you need help with that, I'm sure the person that supports you can definitely help you. Call to stay in contact and stay in touch. There's another keyword that we had from a story last week with your family and friends. And when somebody answers or the voicemail picks up, you need to say hello, tell them who you are, tell them why you called, and then you can chat and ask questions and have a conversation. So make sure that you share and are also asking questions so they can share. So it's a two-sided conversation. And then you just say goodbye when the phone conversation is over, when you're all done talking, when you have nothing to say, or you run out of time. When you answer a call, it's always a good idea to say hello. You say your name. And since I'm at work right now, if I were to answer the phone, I would pick up and say, Pathways, this is Janae. Or I would ask how I could help them. And then, and oftentimes I will transfer the call. You don't have to worry about that with a personal phone. That's just extra information that you don't need to worry about right now. And then I will often say, thanks, and we'll talk to you later at the end of a phone conversation before you hang up, so they know that you're hanging up. Okay, so if you are making a doctor appointment, here we're going to do just a couple examples. You need to schedule a checkup with your doctor. Where can you find the number? Once you find the phone number, you dial it. The receptionist answers and asks how they can help. So where can we find a number for a doctor's office? Your parents might have it written down. Your support person might have it written down. You could also find it in a phone book. You may find it on a bill that you've had before, or you can go on the internet, or hopefully if it's an emergency and not an appointment, you'll have the phone number saved in your phone, and you can bring up that pretty quickly so you don't have to be searching for it. Once you find the phone number, you dial it and the reception answers and asks how they can help. Now, if you're a receptionist at the doctor's office, your job would be to answer phone calls and schedule appointments. So when a patient calls, you would need to know their name, their phone number, and when they can come in for an appointment. Let's do one more. Okay, you need, pause this real quick. Oh, so right there, somebody else got the phone because I was unable to answer it. And if they need me, they will transfer the call on over. Okay, for ordering a pizza, which they did in another one, you want to call and order a pizza. Where will you find the phone number? Will it be in your phone contacts? It will be if you've saved it in there before. Otherwise, you can find it online. And you want to have the pizza delivered, and you'll pay with cash. So all you have to worry about in this scenario is finding the phone number for the pizza place. And you can either do that in your phone contacts or online. Now, if you were on the other side and you were working at a pizza shop, your job would be to answer the phone call and take an order. So when a customer calls, you're going to have to find out more information about them. You would need to find out if they want the pizza to be delivered or they're planning on picking it up. You need to find the person's phone number and address, what the person wants to order, how they're going to pay, and you need to tell the person how much it's going to cost. All right, there are more scenarios like this if you want to go over them on your own. It's about with job coaching. I believe there's one more about needing a ride. So it's always a good idea to have the most important contacts in your phone so you can just be able to pull them up. If it's not a number that you use very often, you can also just use your phone or the internet to be able to find the phone number. That is all I have for today's lesson on using phones for that. Have a great day, everyone.